time I got hot like this was this Capricorn. I think it was Capricorn reading. I felt this type of heat. You are a Leo, so you do bring heat. You are the Sun card, so you should be able to handle this kind of heat. Okay, let me get this card out. Now I'm starting to lose my voice. I lost my voice yesterday, and then I lost my freaking legs. Tea, a lot of tea, tea and honey. Okay, I get the Three of Wands, friends, and the Seven of Swords. You might be changing friends, or you're having a new group of friends. The Ten of Swords. Okay, this is not good, but it's okay. All right, because I feel like you may have had to experience a group of friends. You may have changed your group of friends here, because the friends that you used to have, they weren't good friends. I also feel like someone has friends here that still there. You might have a lot of friends who are boosters. A lot of cricket friends right here. This is the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Swords. Oh, you could have a lot of hacker friends. Three of Wands. You know, friends who know a lot about the internet. Do you know people who actually are very smart with like digital devices, are very paranoid people, because they know that there's a lot of people that can get into your devices and steal information. I also feel like this is a blessing and a curse at the same time. It's a blessing because you know the right people that can get you the right information. If you ever need to call them and be like, look, I feel like somebody might be hacking me, or somebody might be following me, or someone's trying to get into my system or something like that, they'll be the first ones to let you know. But it's also a curse, because if you end up in a bad place with these kinds of people, the shit they could do to you. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That you got to be careful how you play with these kinds of friends. This could be Bitcoin. Also, this could be the stock market. And all they do is exchange money, and they're looking at these points all the time. There is not no friends in the stock market. I would just like to say that to somebody. If you are involved in the stock market, Bitcoin, those kinds of stuff, things that are always bringing in money, these are not your friends, and it's strictly business. Okay, all the information that's given to you can be used against you. And the stock market, it can be a good thing and a bad thing. Let's go into Martha Stewart. She knew somebody in the inside, right? She knew a lot of people on the inside. And someone gave her information that something was about to crash. So what did Martha Stewart do? She went off and she sold all her stuff. And then the next day it had crashed or whatnot. And she ended up going to prison behind it. But let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. How many of y'all would have sold those stocks? How many of you will have not sold all those stocks? And she knew. What, she was supposed to let everybody else know that it was going to crash and everybody was going to be left fucked? I mean, who in their right mind would have just let themselves get fucked over by millions of dollars? So, I mean, it was a good friend in the stock market that gave a tip out to Martha Stewart, right? They were a good friend. Yet, that great advice that they gave you or gave her put her in prison. Just think about it. Fuck, man. And you're given this kind of information, you're supposed to pretend like you didn't hear it? And it's a big mind fuck, right? What would you do? What would you have done? Because it's against the law to even tip people off like that. It's against the law to tip people off like that. It's almost like this, like if there's an illegal operation going on right here, and someone calls somebody and tells them the cops are going to be there in exactly 5 minutes. Are you going to warn everybody else to get out, or are you just going to get up and leave? That's what the fuck I'm talking about. All right, I get the 5 of Wands and I get the 5 of Swords. Shit, one way or another, it's gonna be a fucking fight, right? It's gonna be a fight. Like, you can't say you're not guilty when you are, but do you blame me? What would you have done? The Sacred Clown. It's almost like okay, so car salesman, right? Majority of them won't be honest with you, even though they promote being honest all the fucking time. They're not honest people. It almost feel like the mechanics and the fucking salesmen, they work together hand in hand. They will get rid of codes. They will go all this shit, tell you that it's a good fucking car, smack it in the ass and tell you it's all yours, right? And then you're left with having to change the brakes, having to change this, having to change that. You will almost think that the mechanic and the salesman are in on it together to bamboozle you out of a whole lot of money and a whole lot of work. And we can sit here and we can blame the mechanic. We can sit here and blame the salesman, but you know that this type of job is a bunch of fucking liars. You're going to get lied to one way or another. Either that or buy yourself a new car fresh out the lot, and then it's going to cost you a lot of money. So I feel like the real honesty is going to cost you a lot of money. Other than that, you know they're selling you a dream. Right? 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 But I feel like the truth was given here to somebody. And this is, I'm just giving you the Martha situation as an example. I'm giving you the car salesman and the mechanic thing as a situation that can happen to anybody. You have to be realistic with yourself, and you have to be smart. Play the thing smart. And if you're giving some kind of information that will still make you look like the bad guy, you got to think about people that have been in your situation before and how they got through certain things. If you're going to be the bad guy, you're going to have to look like the bad guy with some kind of morals and integrity. Because nobody feels sorry for the bad guy that continues doing the same fucking things. And you're not showing us changed behavior. Like, for example, if everybody is looking at you like if you had something to do with a whole lot of murders, human trafficking, and people, you know, stealing a bunch of music, stealing shit in the industry, movies or whatnot, movie roles from people, would you not rather be seen as helping the homeless instead of going on a private jet and buying yourself a fucking $80,000 purse? But one way or another, you're going to look like the bad guy because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you may have participated on a lot of bullshit. And it's true whether you knew about it or not. It's true. And you may have to play a part on it. Now, you got to understand that there's a lot of fucking businesses and corporations that they give these promotion out to the most stupidest person, because when the company's about to fall, that stupid person that they promoted as CEO is the one that's going to take all the blame, because that position is made for you to take all that blame. And so when they hit you with, oh, embezzlement, money laundering, and all this shit, and you didn't know a motherfucking thing about it, they're going to say bullshit. This is you signing off to all these papers, even if you didn't know anything about it. You didn't do your homework enough, or didn't even think to yourself, why is this person giving me this position that takes people years and years and years to fulfill, to go, they could go to college for it, and they're choosing me? You guys remember the Flintstones, how they gave oh god, what's his name? Fuck, I forgot their names. But in the Flintstone, there was the friend that was a little bit more stupid than the other friend. And they ended up giving him the job position. That's what they did to him. The one that has Halle Berry playing in that movie. And they were playing him. They were stealing all this money, and he thought he was on top of the world, and he was out here gloating in front of everyone, started to treat his friends all bad and all that shit. And then when it really came down to it, they had set him up. But had he not let all that money go to his head, he could have seek some advice from his friend who was the one that was worthy of that position and been forewarned beforehand. But no, instead he let that ego get the best of him. I feel like with the Martha Stewart story, I kind of sympathize with the old girl, because I mean, what would you do? What the fuck would you do? You're about to lose millions on the stock and someone gives you that kind of tip. What the fuck would you do? I would have done the 2 years too. I believe she only did 2 years and then she did some probation. I would have done the 2 years too. Then losing millions. I mean, did she end up losing all that money anyways? Did she have to pay back other people? I don't know. Now went on to the Flintstone one. Finally, his friend finally was like, he helped him out at the very end after he apologized and he felt his life was really falling apart for him. And the stock market could be like that too. You know, it's a dirty fucking game right there. That's just all they do is play with numbers. That's all they do is play with numbers. And they're playing with people's money all the time. It's a dirty, dirty game when we're talking numbers. Because if we're talking numbers, when we're talking numbers, and we can manipulate numbers a lot. Don't think that it doesn't happen. We can make money disappear out of nowhere. See, and that's what I'm talking about, the stock market thing. And you know how I was telling you, having people who are hackers on your side until they're not on your side. Piss one of these motherfuckers off and see if that money don't go missing. It's like drug dealers, right? They make all this money and they go money launder their money in the whole, like, let's say Panama. I'm just throwing Panama out there, right? And then kind of find out when you really need that money, the cops are coming from you. And you find yourself out there in the Panamanian bank and stuff. And the government done seized your shit. And they're out there living their best life with your motherfucking money. Yet, there's no two wrongs to make a right. It's a dirty, dirty game out here. And you got to be on your motherfucking toes. And I don't know why I'm throwing this shit out here. I'm throwing this shit out here so you could be on your toes. Okay? And if you ever catch yourself in these situations, think about what would somebody else do. Because sometimes you got to think really fucking fast. Because if you ain't thinking fast enough, your ass can get caught up. And sometimes it's not that bad, because if you really think about the Martha Stewart situation, most of us will put ourselves in that position. But then if you look at certain other situations, you know, you could have these expensive bags, but you ain't got no real friends, and you ain't gonna have real backbone when all these things lead back to you and your $80,000 purse. Had you gave, to charity and stuff, maybe someone would have overlooked it. But you see, this greed thing can really fuck us up. Having too much. Make sure your shit is always, pay attention to your numbers, okay? Pay attention to your friends. Understand that sometimes they will benefit you and sometimes they won't. Okay, sometimes you do got to put yourself apart from certain people. But I'm going to tell you something else. If these hackers put you in a position of power and you shit on them, it's like the iBot thing. I'm going to reference Drake. The things that are going on with Drake right now. And you got to realize what gave that position to Drake. The same way that Kendrick is getting his position, let's say all allegedly, is the same way he once got his position. And one time they were rooting for you, and then one time you pissed them off, and that's all it took. So So just understand, when we're hanging around with certain friends, or we're becoming parts of certain organization, or getting involved in the stock market, getting involved in Bitcoin, getting involved with hackers and stuff like that, understand that there is two sides that can benefit you or not benefit you. You might have to write a piece of paper and see if it's worth the time that you might do if it goes against you. And that's why it never hurts to do the right thing. It never hurts to live your life righteous. It's like you won't have those kinds of problems. But in this world I like to call hell, anything goes. And I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, now we got another dumbass. I'm glad that I'm getting on here and I'm just getting rid of dumbasses.